Let's talk about this last episode of mamajune Family Crisis. Josh tries to sit down with Pumpkin and communicate with her because they haven't been talking at all. They've been doing the bare minimum and only talking like when it comes to the kids. So he wants to sit down and try to get things sorted out because he just wants to get back to where things were. I actually was watching a live of Mama June's on TikTok the other day, and she revealed that Josh and Pumpkin have been having issues for a long time. She claimed they were having problems before baby Bentley, well, I guess he's not so much a baby anymore, but since their first son was born. And she said that Josh did some things, Pumpkin did some things. They're both guilty of hurting each other. And she said it wasn't really too much of a surprise when they did finally decide to break things off. So Josh is trying to fix things, but Pumpkin is too focused on her work. And I think she's pretty much over Josh at this point. She's accepted that this marriage is over, and I think there's really no going back in her head, and there's nothing you can convince her to make her think, okay, let me try to give this one last chance. When Josh is trying to talk to Pumpkin, she answers the phone and interrupts the conversation, and it's the mayor, and she's like, yeah, so your vendor bank got approved, and Pumpkin's like, oh my god, I have so much work to do. So she just jumps up and runs off and leaves Josh there at the table when he's trying to have a conversation to save their marriage. But Pumpkin is just solely prioritizing this vendor event. But girl, I don't blame her because she's making $50 a pop from these vendors. So she got a little over 50 vendors, $50 a pop. That's $2,500. And then on the episode, I saw she was charging everybody $25 just to pull up and park and attend the event. So no telling how many people paid the $25. That wasn't even added into her final total. So she gets all excited and she has to go run over to her warehouse, and she's telling her sister Jessica, and I think her name's Paisley, I believe, the girl that she hired. She's like, guys, you have to get all kinds of merchandise ready because we're going to sell a lot at this event. And meanwhile, June has Justin working overtime, slaving away, making all these pens for her. And she doesn't even give a damn how these pens look. I think she's just like in a rush. And she's like, I gotta have something to try to make money off of because I know there's going to be people that want to see me. And I need to take advantage of the opportunity. So she's going to try to sell pens and a picture for $15 a piece, which isn't a bad hustle. And I'm sure a lot of people are solely going just to see them and meet the family because the whole family's supposed to be there. June was like, I got $3 pens, I got $5 pens, and even Justin was making some fancy pens she claimed she was going to sell for $7 a pop. And I saw a post from someone on Reddit who was actually a vendor at this event, and we're going to cover what they posted a little later on in the video, but they claimed that June was selling the pens for $3 or 3 for $12, so $4 a piece. And I think you had to buy at least 3 to get the $12 price point. Otherwise, I believe they were more expensive. I remember this because this was back when Justin was trying to start his own business like Pumpkin, and he was trying to press shirts and come out with all this merch, and I don't think that really took off because I haven't really seen him do that lately, but I haven't been watching as much of his lives lately. And then June started trying to sell these pens, and she was trying to sell them on TikTok Live. But Pumpkin is getting ready for the event, and meanwhile, Alana and Dralin decide to go see Dralin's lawyer, which is the same lawyer the family uses, like the same lawyer that helped Pumpkin get child support from June. And so this lawyer sits down with Dralin, and Dralin thought, okay, I'm just going to plead not guilty. And he was really confident that as long as he pays like a lot of money to a lawyer, that he'll likely be able to plead not guilty, and they'll sit there and decide in his favor. But the lawyer was like, nope, it's not that easy. It doesn't matter who you hire, how much money you spend, there's still always that risk that you can be going to jail. And even if you try to take it to trial, if you try to take it to trial and you end up being found guilty, they're just gonna come down even harder on you, and you could end up getting way more time than you originally planned on getting. And she's like, yeah, so you can plead, I think she said you can plead not guilty, but then that can risk up to 10 years. Or you can plead guilty to what they're offering you, and that is felony, and I think felony evading, because he was evading police and going over 25 miles per hour, which he's trying to deny all those claims. He's like, no, I wasn't evading, I wasn't speeding that much, and that's why he claims he wants to take it to trial. But I don't know. I really want to try to get the body cam footage from that and see what really happened. Because I kind of feel like he's just trying to say that he didn't do those things in front of the camera. But I feel like the police, the fact that multiple police officers claim this happened, I kind of believe the police officers. But, you know, the lawyer wants to get a hold of the body cam footage and do a little bit more research before they do finally decide what they're going to do. And Dralin is like, I don't know if I want to do that, because the lawyer said even if you plead guilty to that charge, that can face up to a year in prison. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get prison time off this, just because he doesn't have a lot of a history. Like, he did have that charge from, like, having a relationship, like, with a minor when he was younger. But besides that, he doesn't have, like, any other evading charges or felonies on his record. I feel like they're just probably going to slap him with probation, and they're just kind of being over dramatic about all this. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what really ends up happening. And then Alana decided to go out to eat with her mom, June, and she has been talking about her mom nonstop on TikTok Live about the fact that June owes her money. So June was like, you know what? I just want her to shut up about this and end this once and for all. So she decides to bring this big ass check, you know, and I heard like checks like that most of the time aren't even valid. Like, most of the time you can't go to a bank and actually cash those kind of checks. It's kind of just all for show. So I hope that she gave her a legitimate check that she can actually take to the bank with that. But she gives her this big check. She has the waiter take pictures of June holding the check. Like, she wanted to make sure she made a whole big deal out of this and made sure she had all the evidence to post for all the haters, to make sure she can shut the haters down next time they try to say that June owes Alana money. And so she gives Alana this check, and she makes this big deal out of it. Like, she expects, like, Alana to be on her hands and knees, kissing her feet, and just celebrating the fact that June is this great person because she finally paid her back. But come on, like, June, you can't be expecting people to celebrate you and hyping you up for finally paying back your daughter money that you should have never had to begin with, that you should have never put in your bank account because you legitimately stole from her. We're not going to celebrate you paying her back after you stole from her. Like, I'm glad she finally did it, and now people can shut up about that. But we're not going to be sitting here jumping up and down, giving Junebug a high five or patting her on the back for doing this shit. So she pays her back, and meanwhile, Pumpkin has her big event, and her event was very successful. Like I said, all those people showed up. She made over $2,500 from all the booths, and then she sold over $1,000 worth of merchandise. June sold over $1,000 worth of merchandise, so congrats to them. And then a vendor ended up speaking out by the name of Horrible Decker. So they said I was a vendor at the market, story time, and they shared this on Reddit, and they shared different pictures from that day. They shared this picture with Alana. They shared a screenshot of them shopping at June's pen booth from the show. And she said, I was a vendor at Pumpkin's Vendor Market in Mama June from Not to Hot, Season 7, Episode 2, and here's how it went down. I saw a post on Instagram calling for vendors, and I signed up immediately. Booths were $50, and honestly, that's a good price for a booth. I used to do a whole bunch of craft markets and stuff like that, and like $50, that's cheap. Like, a lot of booths are over $100 plus. And she said, which felt fair enough. The event was scheduled for mid-June in Gordon, Georgia, which is about a 6-hour drive for me. So my best friend and I made a little road trip out of it. We drove down the day before, and we stayed at a hotel in a nearby town. The morning of the event, I put the address listed on the flyer into my GPS, and I ended up in a trailer park. No event in sight. Thankfully, there was a group text with the other vendors, so I asked if anyone could confirm the address, and turns out Pumpkin had posted the wrong address on all the flyers and social media. Classic. I sure hope everyone had access to that group text. And she said, I finally got the correct location and made my way over. The actual event took place in a small park that was basically just a grassy field. On the show, they said there were 50 vendors, but I'd estimate more like 30. There's a DJ playing music the whole time, a few food trucks, one of those MLM nutrition tea stands, and a snow cone truck. That one was the best as it was nearly 100 degrees that day. I set up my booth and waited. Gordon's population is around 1,700. Okay, that's a small-ass town. And she said, so I wasn't expecting a huge crowd, but I didn't do the event for the money. I did it because I'm autistic and this show is one of my niche special interests. I make all kinds of art, but I've done a whole collection centered on Honey Boo Boo and her family. Mostly stickers available on my site, link in bio probably. Throughout the day, I got to meet the whole crew. Mama June, Justin, Pumpkin, Alana, Dralin, Josh, Jessica, Cheyenne, Caitlin, Dodo, and Amber. Everyone was super friendly and chatting with Mama June was honestly hilarious. I even got to give Alana a painting I made of her, which was the highlight of my day. I actually sold a decent amount of merch, more than I expected. It didn't fully cover the travel expenses, hotel, gas, food, but I didn't go to make a profit. I honestly think that Pumpkin and Mama June just probably sold more merchandise than other people because people were wanting excuses to go near them to spark up conversation and potentially get pictures or autographs, or just so they could say, hey, I bought this from Pumpkin or Mama June. So she says, I didn't want to make a profit. I went because I knew this would be a weird, once in a lifetime kind of experience, and I wanted to soak it all in. I just read that. There was a couple camera guys, a security dude, and a producer hanging around. They all loved my Mama June artwork, and they bought some pieces, and a car show was happening nearby too. Though the car show might be a stretch, there were about 5 or 6 cars total, and toward the end of the event, Mama June came over and gave me a leftover door prize that hadn't been raffled off. A t-shirt with an iron-on Mama June logo on the front, signed by the whole family on the back. I think she handed me a pen too. After packing up, I took a little detour to McIntyre to see the original Honey Boo Boo house. It was looking a little rough, but has since been fixed up and turned into some sort of adult education center. All in all, I had a great time. The TV edit made the event look bigger and more crowded than it actually was. I heard a lot of vendors didn't make many sales, which sucks, but I lucked out. I even signed up for Pumpkin's Christmas market when she posted about it later that year. Unfortunately, this one didn't go so well. I drove another 6 hours only to find out that she had canceled the event without telling the vendors. No refund either. So yeah, that part sucked. But would I do it again? Hell no. And this is the second person I've seen on this Reddit. We just covered one in my last video about them, talking about someone else speaking out saying, yeah, she got my money for this winter market she had after this market she had on the show, and then she ended up canceling it, and she just posted on Facebook, but she didn't really notify a lot of people. Like, she should have been sending this in the little group chat that they had, and the people, a lot of people, I know at least 2 people, I can't say a lot, at least 2 people have came forward now and said that they did not receive their $50 refund for that event. No telling how many other people there are. Pumpkin's event was a success. Josh was there and he was helping out at first, but Pumpkin wasn't even talking to him. So he's like, why the hell am I going to be here? She's not even going to talk to me, which honestly, I don't blame him. Like, she's lucky that he's even there helping her after the way that she hasn't even been wanting to talk to him lately. So I feel like he did enough that day and there's no reason to be there. So he dipped out. Then Alana sat down with Pumpkin and she's like, what's going on with you and Josh? Because I know something's not right. He's barely around. And Pumpkin was just like beating around the bush, and she finally admitted that her and Josh were going to get a divorce. And Alana just couldn't believe it. She said, look, you and Josh are the ones that made me believe in true love. And I'm like, oh, but that's true. Like, I really thought Josh and Pumpkin were perfect for each other, but I think that they're just a product of what happens when you get together way too young. And so they got together and now they don't want to be together. And then later on, June sat down with the whole family, Jessica, Dralin, and she kept trying to confront Pumpkin. And she's like, what's wrong with you? And Pumpkin, again, she's beating around the bush. And finally she said, me and Josh are getting an effing divorce. Everyone wants to act all shocked, but it just seems so inauthentic to me, especially with Mama June saying she already knew, and Pumpkin, the girl that she was having an affair with, she claims that she was coming around while Pumpkin was still married to Josh and Josh was out of town, and she was coming around the whole family. So the whole family knew Pumpkin was cheating and stuff like this. So I think they all knew that this marriage had pretty much been in shambles for a while. I think that they're just, making them react for the cameras and pretending that this is the first time they're finding out. But you can tell that the family already knew, especially like Jessica, the way how she was just like, everybody, even June, like the way they're trying to pull it out of Pumpkin. It's like, girl, we've talked about this a million times, but let's talk about it a million and one time. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this season so far in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.